Hi friends, I hope you're well. In this video, we're going to talk about the links and resources that will help you get your certification for Cisco Devnet Associate level, as well as Juniper, the JNCIA, which is the Associate level Juniper Network Automation certification. So let's get started. So first of all, let's start with Cisco. Now, when I was preparing for Devnet Associate exam, I just referred to two resources. The first one is the free resources that they've published on their website, which I'm sharing with you. I will be sending the link towards the end of the video. And basically, this page, if we scroll down, it gives us an exam overview along with the study materials, and the icing on the cake is that they also provide you with the lab. So say for example you don't have a lab at home to test the scripts on, they also provide you this virtual lab that you can just practice and get some confidence on. So as you can see, they've mentioned the study materials. So this is the summary of the topics on which we are going to be quizzed. And they've also published the weightage of the questions that will appear in the exam. So understanding and using APIs is 20%, Cisco platforms and development 15%, so on and so forth. Now, just to give you a quick demo of how it works. So say for example, you want to study about intro to Python part 1. So you just click on the link and it will take you to this topic, and it will also, so yeah, there you go. And you see on the right, you see this terminal window. On this terminal window, you can also run the commands and see for yourself what each command does. It's a very useful tool, and I would highly recommend it. So this is the first thing, and if we start learning, I think you have to register with either your Facebook account, Google, or it gives you different options. This is my personal laptop, so I don't think I've used this laptop for logging in, but I'm sure if you use one of these logins, you'll be fine. So let's close this. So this is Cisco Devnet Associate. Along with the Cisco developer courses, I also remember doing, there was a course on Pluralsight by Russo. Yes, and that was very useful as well. I think the name of the course goes by the name of this Cisco Devnet Associate JNCIA by Russo. If you search it, I'm sure you'll be able to find it. So these two, yeah, before you do these two courses, I would also recommend that you do this beautiful, very methodical and very structured course by Hank Preston. So if you just scroll down, it just starts from the basics, what these terms mean. So what is a REST API? What is JSON? What is XML? GitHub. So it starts from, it makes your foundation very strong, and then you make your way up and you get onto the advanced topics. So, many people, they ping me on LinkedIn and say, Julie, we've got an upcoming job interview for job network automation, and we don't know where to start. Could you send us a few links? This is the link I most frequently send to all my friends and followers for introduction to network automation. Very useful link. I will be sending this link once again in the description. So as you can see, I myself, when I started my automation journey, I have learned a lot from these videos, so I highly recommend them. So these are the basics. It covers the basics, and then they gradually move on to the advanced levels. It's very highly recommended. Okay, so this was Cisco. So for Cisco, I would say start with these programmability basics by Hank Preston. Then move on to the this link, which is developer.cisco, the Devnet Associate Exam version 1.0 study material. And then also the Pluralsight course by Nick Russo. So this is these are the resources for Devnet Associate Exam. Now let's move on to the Juniper certification. Now for JNCIA, if you go to Juniper website, they've got this structure on their website, and it says getting started. They've also laid out a basic format and structure of their exam on which we are going to be tested. Basically, if you go to the certifications link here, I think you need to register for their certification. I will send the link for this Juniper training course as well. It's free. And also, once you're ready to sit for the exam, you need to register, and I think they waive off the examination fee if you get subscribed to them and you get some access code. I will send that link in my description as well. And the Juniper training is also very good, and obviously they target the Juniper devices and how to communicate with Juniper devices. It's very useful, and I remember spending about a week or so for Juniper certification, and I got my certification towards the end in whatever I did in 1 week's training. So that's Juniper. Now, in addition to this, guys, now some of you who are who are new to automation and who have been in the networking field but want to learn automation, or if you're not able to start this journey due to high workload or personal reasons or whatever, I hope this session will help you. So what I'm going to do in this session, I'm going to keep it very simple so that anyone who doesn't come from a networking background is able to understand what I'm talking about and is able to appreciate the beauty of network automation and the profoundness of possibilities that network automation has to offer us. So let's see. So for that, I'm just going to share my this notepad. Right. So basically, what is automation? Why do we automate things? I mean, humans can do it. Yes, humans can do it. But the speed factor, computers can do it several times faster. So if you want to make changes on one router, and say, for example, you've got a very big industrial estate where you've got thousands of servers. Imagine the effort that will go into configuring those thousands of servers. Whereas on the other hand, if you've got automation, you can just, with a click of a button, you see that's the beauty. With a click of a button, you can apply those changes on thousands of servers at the same time. So this talks about why. Now let's move on to how. Now, say for example, I've got these 1,000 servers and I want to extract the name of each server along with the IP address and MAC address, right? So let's just talk about one server, what approach we would take. So if this is our sample output, like this is a sample output for router 1, its IP address is x.x.x.x and MAC address is a.b.c.d. So many times you would have heard me saying, we need to parse the data, structured data. What is structured data? It's nothing but a language that can be understood by a computer. Computer can't understand what I'm talking about at the moment. It's just gibberish to computer. Whereas if I present this data to the computer in a nice format, like very organized format, structured data, very organized, like, listen, IP. So what I've done is I've extracted this information from the raw CLI output that you can see above. So I will tell the computer, this is the IP address and this is the MAC address. Cut out all the unnecessary noise. We just want to cut it out. We just want to focus on the important bits. So that's what we've done. We've parsed the data. Who does this parsing? Humans do the parsing. So there's a program that is written in advance that will take out all the nonsense in the background. It will only keep the useful information, and we will present it to the computer saying, this is the useful information, this is the parsed data, this is the structured data that we are interested in, process it further. Right. So after we have the parsed data, and on the topic of structured data, now just if we try to understand the meaning of the term structured data, it has a certain structure to it. Now there can be different structures. So three prominent structured languages that computers love, just like we humans speak English, we speak Hindi, we speak French. Computers have different languages as well. And they are predominantly YAML, Netconf, XML, and JSON. Now you'll think, what is she talking about? So let's just spend a quick minute on each of these languages. So YAML is a kind of structured data. If you see 3 dashes, you should understand this format is YAML. I've been working on Ansible lately, and most of the playbooks are in YAML. It starts with these 3 hyphens, and then basically if there is a list of items, you put a hash, and it's very human readable, very easy. No fancy jargons, anything, just very structured. You can understand, no confusion. It is so very well written that anyone can understand what the IP address is or what the different details about a network device is. I like this language, very human readable and very easy to understand and learn as well. The next language is XML. Now, XML basically, whenever you see these tags, these tags. Wherever you see any information which is encapsulated in these tags, it is XML. And basically it starts and then it ends with it. This is the very basic structure of XML. And basically transport protocols like Netconf use XML for representing their data. Now they say that it's not as easy as YAML, but it has a lot of feature set. It can do lots of things that other structured data can't hold. The information that they can't hold, XML can do that. It's very robust. So, and I personally have used it. I quite like it. Once you just get your head around these tags and closing tags, and if there's an opening tag, it will have a closing tag. Just bear that in mind. And within these tags, you have different information, and that's all there is to it. It's very beautiful, and it's very nicely organized as well. So that's XML for you. And the third one is called JSON. JSON, basically it looks like a Python dictionary. So if you know Python, if you're coming from a programming background, if you know Python, these are double the double quotes, and everything that is written within a double quotes is called a string. And so JSON basically represents the data within these double quotes. However, it is not Python dictionary. Don't get confused. These are two different things, and if you want to work on these if you want to parse the data or anything, you will have to first convert it into a JSON structure. So yeah, JSON is very pretty, very beautiful, and the output when it comes out in JSON format, it's very easy to read, and it's human friendly. It's very easy to understand. So these are the three main structured data or types in network automation. Now moving on, how do we connect to these network devices? Yeah. So say for example, let's take a router that you might have at your home. Now, either you can use a console cable or connect to it, but you would need a console cable to first give it an IP address. So once it has been networked, once you have given it an IP address, once you can communicate with it, then either you can use the command line interface using SSH, yeah, or you can use a more relatively new interface called API, Application Programming Interface. That is more for machine-to-machine communication. Now, if I'm logging onto the router, that would be human-to-machine, and I would use CLI and I would use SSH to the IP address, just like we humans have names, devices have IP addresses. So that would be a SSH to the IP address. Or if it's a machine-to-machine communication, we would use an API, which is Application Programming Interface. And using API interfaces, when there's a machine-to-machine communication, you will get structured data back from the device. That is the beauty of using machine-to-machine. Whereas if I use human to CLI, I would just get a unparsed data or a raw CLI output, which I will then have to convert into a parsed data using different parsers. We'll talk about it in another video. But just to keep it simple, machine to machine, the information that you get back is already structured in these formats. So if you're using Netconf transport protocol, you will automatically get the information back in XML format. And if you're using Restconf, you will get information back in JSON format. Now, moving on, people have developed that let's abstract all this information. We don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of, what a particular command is for a particular vendor to get to the IP address or to get to the routing protocol or to get to the OSPF, BGP, HSRP, VRRP, everything. We know that every router will have an IP address. We know that every router will have a BGP ID. We know that every router will have OSPF neighbors if it is running OSPF protocol. So let's just abstract everything and let's just define these things at a very high level. What the IP address is, what type it is, so that it doesn't get restricted to any particular vendor. So these attributes, they came up with the common attributes that all vendors in this world who are developing networking products will have. They will have an IP address, they will have a BGP ID, they will have a OSPF ID, they will have a loopback address. So these are called the Yang models, which are again very beautifully written, very beautifully structured, and basically different vendors have different Yang models. And the beauty of using Yang models is again, the information that you get back is already structured. If it is already structured, you don't have to spend time, looking for that needle in the haystack and parsing the data and taking out or extracting useful information from the entire output. You just have everything that you want. All you've got to do is apply the logic for the information that you want to process. Just get on with it. That is the beauty. So I think in this topic in this session, we have covered a lot. If there is any other topic that you would want me to go in detail, please let me know, and I will try to cover it. And that's it for me. And I will be sending the links of the certifications in the description. I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.